90-Day Fiancés Rebecca and Zied recently made headlines celebrating their fourth year together. However, fans might recall the happy couple's relationship began with a major ultimatum. Zied threatened to move back to Tunisia if Rebecca wouldn't rush their wedding and marry him before Ramadan. Of course, everything worked out for them in the end. But for many couples, this isn't the case. Almost all of the couples on the TLC series faced difficulties as a result of merging their lives and cultures. Some challenges proved more insurmountable than others and ended up causing dramatic ultimatums. These stars presented their partners and relatives with ridiculous ultimatums that, in many cases, resulted in turmoil. This ultimatum should never have been necessary in the first place. After repeatedly proving himself unable to stand up to his parents, Brandon mustered his courage and demanded they allow him and Julia to sleep in the same room together. If his parents wouldn't comply, Brandon threatened to move off the farm. Brandon's mother became hysterical at the possibility of her baby boy leaving the farm and gave in to his demand. The truth of the matter is Brandon and Julia should have moved out immediately when Brandon realized how unhappy his Russian partner was living with her controlling in-laws. Their decision to leave shouldn't have involved his parents at all. Yazan and Brittany were a mismatched couple from the start. Brittany had trouble understanding Yazan's culture, and he was constantly pushing the Instagram model to be more conservative. Brittany even considered converting to Islam for Yazan but wasn't sure it was the right decision for her. Eventually, Yazan gave Brittany an ultimatum: convert to Islam in 3 days or he wouldn't continue with their marriage plans. 3 days is hardly enough time to devote oneself to a whole new faith and culture. Even though Brittany is, by no means, a fan favorite, the request still seemed completely inappropriate. Unsurprisingly, Brittany and Yazan's relationship didn't work out. In a dramatic scene between the now-divorced couple, Anfisa kicks Jorge out of his apartment. She tells him over the phone that if he wants to be with her, he needs to learn to be able to meet her needs, and if he has a problem with that, find a new girlfriend. This was certainly not the most shocking thing Anfisa said in the series, but coupled with locking Jorge out of the house, it did leave him no choice but to consider her ultimatum. Anfisa would go on to regularly demand ludicrous things from Jorge, threatening to return to Russia if she didn't get her way. Jorge was, of course, partially to blame for Anfisa's unrealistic expectations, as he told her he was a millionaire, which turned out to be far from the truth. Jimena didn't seem interested in Mike at all during their time on Before the 90 Days. She was even vocal about him disgusting her. To make matters worse, Jimena agreed that she wouldn't marry Mike until he paid for her breast augmentation. Related, 10 times Mike should have left Jimena on 90-Day Fiancé. Jimena's out-of-line request came after months of Mike paying for her major expenses such as rent and furniture. Mike was clear that although he didn't mind helping Jimena and her children with necessities, he felt it unwise to spend thousands of dollars on an elective surgery when the couple should be saving money for their new life together. Jimena was unmoved and stuck to her ultimatum. The couple doesn't appear to be together any longer. Emily and Kobe hit a rough patch when Kobe demanded she stops breastfeeding their 17-month-old son. He explained that, in his culture, babies are only breastfed for 8 to 10 months at most. He even told her she needed to stop breastfeeding before he arrived in Kansas. However, Kobe eventually admitted his argument stemmed from a selfish place. He wanted Emily's breasts all to himself. He insisted, "I can't be sharing breasts with my son." Emily didn't give in to Kobe's requests and countered by saying she wouldn't compromise her bond with their son. Usman was hesitant to jump into a relationship with Kim on Before the 90 Days, given his divorce from Lisa. Baby girl Ham had just been made official. Nevertheless, after meeting in person, Kim became upset Usman wouldn't sleep with her. It's worth noting that the 90-Day star released an unforgettable song about Lisa called I Love You, but has yet to release anything dedicated to Kim. Usman explained that in his culture he cannot be intimate with someone he is not in a relationship with. Kim pushed back and after much uncomfortable persuasion, presented an extremely problematic ultimatum. If he didn't make their relationship official by the time she left, she would return home and begin dating other people. In an attempt to save their courtship, Usman agreed to consummate the relationship. The global pandemic brought on travel restrictions which made the K-1 visa process more complicated for many hopeful couples, including Amira and Andrew. However, Andrew became anxious about their visa expiring and pushed Amira to meet him in Mexico, from which he thought she might be able to enter the U.S. Related, 10 things you didn't know about 90-Day Fiancé's Amira Lalisa. Amira was hesitant, but Andrew gave her a manipulative ultimatum, telling the French/Egyptian beauty that she'd make the trip if she really loved him and it was the only way to stay together. Amira ended up traveling to Mexico and being detained by immigration agents there for several days before being sent back to her home country of France. Instead of sympathizing with her traumatic plight, Andrew insisted she make the trip again, this time alone, to Serbia. Anna and Merzel connect over their shared love for beekeeping. everything. But when Mursal comes to the US to be with his future wife, he neglects to tell his Turkish parents that Anna has 3 young sons from a previous relationship. Mursal believes his family won't be able to accept his bride-to-be or her children on account of their strict cultural beliefs. Finally, Anna offers a firm ultimatum, announcing to Mursal that she won't marry him unless he tells his parents the truth. Mursal ends up breaking the news to his parents, who became very angry. The pair has since gotten past this issue and has gone on to become one of the greatest 90-day couples. Sumed's mother, Sadna, was easily one of the biggest villains of the 90-day franchise. She refused to give Jenny and Sumed her blessing after the couple had spent over a decade fighting to be together. She even threatened to hurt herself if Sumed went through with the wedding behind her back. After much convincing, Sadna tells the couple she might consider giving her blessing if they move her into their home so she can teach Jenny to be a good wife. Rather insulting considering Jenny is actually a few years older than Sadna. The couple reluctantly welcomes her into their home, and she proceeds to humiliate Jenny in every way possible before concluding her instruction and allowing the couple to marry. Isuelu's mother, Lucina, makes her priorities clear on the reality show. She just wants money and doesn't care about her son's happiness. In a particularly heated exchange, Lucina demands $1,000, an exorbitant amount considering, at the time, Kalani was a stay-at-home mom and Isuelu was working part-time. Lucina threatens to take Isuelu back to Samoa so he can continue providing for her as he had when he lived on the island if Kalani refuses to fork over the money. Even though Isuelu is an adult, Kalani is aware that his mother has just enough control over him that she may be able to convince him to return to Samoa.